Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 9th, 2024 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Here. Are there any conflict of interest statements?
No.
Approval of the minutes of the meeting of May 2nd, 2024.
Motion to approve those minutes.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bid openings, I don't see any. Number 6, matters from other department heads or their representatives.
Good morning, Mr. President and Board.
Good morning.
On behalf of the Law Department, we'd request some subpoenas be issued pursuant to a hearing that's going to be before the Board on June 7th.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got some subpoenas that we'd request be issued for that hearing.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anything else from department heads or their representatives? Okay, moving on to correspondence. Number 7, letter A. Correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $40,713.50 of CIB funding to be allocated for the 2023-2 CCMG Summer Street change order number 1 and corresponding change order submitted for approval.
Good morning to the board.
Good morning.
During the course of the start of this project, we found that a segment, about a 400-foot long segment of the roadway has water directly underneath the pavement, and it's causing it to fail. In the 90s, when this road was reconstructed, there was quite a bit of underdrain that was installed, about 1,000 feet from Indianapolis Boulevard going east. But the next 400 feet has this problem with water standing underneath the asphalt. So it's been recommended that we install underdrains in that segment also to try to relieve that water from causing the road to fail early. This is a community crossings project. Unfortunately, change orders are not matched as part of CCMG, so we're responsible for 100% of the change order, and so this has been considered by the Capital Improvements Board on Monday, and we'd ask for your approval for this change order.
Okay, it was signed by the controller and the mayor also.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Letter B, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $19,105 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Marble Street reconstruction and corresponding agreement submitted for approval.
So this is an agreement with Advanced Engineering Services of Hammond. They are going to help the city with observing the construction of the Marble Street roadway between Wabash and the Indiana-Illinois state line. It's limited in terms of the work. The project's only going to be about a month long, and they're just helping us with on-site observation. I'm doing all the administrative work for the project. This was considered by the Capital Improvement Board on Monday and approved, and we'd ask for your approval.
Okay, again, it was signed by the mayor and the city controller.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter C, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $106,493 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Holman Avenue reconstruction, change order number 18, and corresponding change order submitted for approval.
So this is a number of sanitary sewer connections on Holman Avenue. During the first year of the project, we had a change order to clean and televise a 60-inch sewer and found a number of failures on the west side and sort of anticipated the same thing would happen on the east side. So about half the change order is either capping or reconnecting the service taps to the buildings on the east side of Holman Avenue to this sewer. Mm-hmm. And then in the areas where we had the vaulted sidewalk, the basement that extended underneath the sidewalk, and we cut that basement wall back to the property line, we had to run those sewer laterals out. And then there are 2 sewer laterals to vacant properties that we wanted to have, so we weren't digging up the street in the future to make those connections. And so that's the bulk of that, and it was considered by CIB on Monday and was approved, and I'd ask for your approval.
Again, it was signed by the city controller and the mayor.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter D, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $1,755.70 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Hammond North approach at Sibley, change order number 1, and corresponding change order submitted for approval.
The contract documents were unclear, and the contractor bid slag as compacted aggregate. It's been a policy for the city for many years to not use slag. So this is the charge to increase to use limestone at this site. It's only $1,800. It was approved by the Capital Improvement Board on Monday, and I'd ask for your approval of that and the change order.
Okay, again, it was signed by the city controller and the mayor.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter E, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $13,560 of CIB funding to be allocated for the 415 Sibley temporary parking improvements and agreement submitted for approval.
At the request of the redevelopment, or the Director of Planning and Development, the gravel area known as 415 Sibley, which is the old J.C. Penney's site at Hammond and Sibley, we were asked to try to expand temporary parking in that area for events that are happening in downtown. And so we're hiring Nice Engineering to do a design of that expanded parking area. And the Capital Improvement Board met on Monday and have approved the funding. I'd ask for your approval of this agreement.
Okay, again, it was signed by the controller and the mayor.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter F, correspondence received from William Short, Chief of Police, requesting the approval of the resignation of Zachary Groen, effective the close of business on May 19th, 2024. And I could say we're going to miss Zach quite a bit. He was a great officer, but he's going to be running a tree cutting business now, so good luck.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter G, correspondence received from Grimmer Construction requesting to close the intersection of Kentucky Avenue and 176 Place, as well as 176 Place from Kentucky Avenue West to the dead end starting on or after May 20th, 2024, with the intersection closure expected to last 3 weeks and the 176 Place closure to last until mid-October.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
So this project is for the Dowling Park overflow. So it's coming from the Dowling Pond to alleviate the problems in that particular area to the north. Going to Kentucky Avenue, going through the field off of Parish, through 76th. 76th Place will be kept open to the extent of allowing traffic to come in and out of there for the residents. Kentucky is going to be closed. It's a deep sewer. It's about 100-inch wide sewer. So they're going to have to do extensive work in Kentucky in 176. So the detour will be basically to Grand, which is a four-way stop. And it's a four-way stop on 176th and also on Orchard Drive. So that would be the best way. Obviously, the residents are going to find their own way. But for the outsiders, if you will, for the parents of the school kids, there's a school right over there. So that should work out perfectly instead of going wherever, but they will go wherever. So I recommend this approval.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter H, correspondence received from Wendy Adam requesting the approval for a parade for the Lakeshore Cal Ripken Babe Ruth Baseball and Softball Program for June 1st. June 1st, 2024 at 10 a.m. and requesting Hammond Police and/or Fire to escort.
Yeah, their last one was pretty good.
Motion to approve and forward to HPD and HFD for a follow-up.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 8, matters from board members. Either of you? Okay. Number 9, new business. Letter A, request to move forward with bidding fuel purchases.
Mr. President, the city has determined that it's in its best interest to go out to auction for fuel. I know that the Port Authority and the Water Department are also participating. So we just request that this move forward so we can get all the notices published and things like that.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter B, C-Click Fix request for slow children playing signs and extra police patrol on the 2700 block of 163rd Place. Forward it to you.
No objection.
Okay.
We don't have any objection to place signs.
And I can take care of the extra police patrol, so, okay.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter C, right-of-way permit received from engineering, submitted for approval. Looks like there's one. Hi, Mark.
Hi, that's a request for Hammond Avenue for Passion to close it, I believe sometime about May 20th, if it states there. I didn't bring a copy of it.
Starts May 28th.
28th.
Yeah.
For several weeks. It's for their upgrade for the South Shore train tracks. And it should be very close to one of the last ones, if not the last one, requesting a closure.
What's going to be, the north-south there is going to be closed at Michigan and Holman? What's going to be closed exactly? Requesting a road closure, Michigan 2 complete. It doesn't, the whole intersection is going to be closed,
Yes.
basically?
So the actual detour would be the same as when we lifted the, well, not we, but they lifted the bridge.
Okay.
So they're gonna block it off at Sibley, do, I hope, right?
Yeah, they have a detour route
All right.
that myself and Dean went through. So we shouldn't have a problem with that.
28th.
Oh.
No, excuse me. Month? No, 5 weeks, yeah.
They're gonna tie in there's a water main that has to be tied in on that intersection. So the detour will be around and they will get out the
So-
advance warning for 10 days.
So will this be going on with that other stuff at Michigan and Kennedy? We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, this is, well, but they're still making, okay, never mind. Okay, thank you, Mark.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
I mean, they have to do it, they have to finish that. Seriously, it's just gonna cause a problem.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter D, request for late rental registration hearing submitted for approval.
Motion to set that for status for June 13th, 2024, I'm sorry.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter E, plat of amendment, Old Pullman Standard Plant, second edition, submitted for approval.
This would have come through the Plan Commission, recommend a board approval.
Thank you.
Plat, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Letter F, garage sale permits submitted for approval. Okay, we're good. Good to go.
Motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Moving on to old business, letter A, Michigan and Kennedy Avenue road closure. Good morning,
Mr.
Mylan, how are
President.
you?
Good morning, board members. Good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm back before you, this time I think with some changes and some blessings. The mayor challenged the sanitary district to not close Michigan. So the plan that I placed in front of you, the aerial photograph, shows that there will be stoplights installed on Michigan, both on the east and the west of the planned eastbound lane closure. So the traffic will still be able to proceed east and west. So there'll be a traffic light at either end, and then it's open. So Michigan stays open. We also have been requested to put traffic signals at 2 driveways, one on the north side of Michigan, so it could go back towards the NIPSCO area and East Chicago, and the other one by Buckeye, in case they need to come in and out of there. So there'll be actually 4 traffic signals installed.
Very nice.
And Michigan stays open. Just so you know, Kennedy will still have to remain closed. Hopefully, it won't be for an extended period of time. None of this will probably start for a couple weeks. It's going to take that long to get all the contractors back on board and get everything moving.
Okay.
There might be some contractors out there doing work, but not on the roadway itself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. A special request, and we need to look at this, board members, as we move through this project. If in fact, Chief, we need to have either PD on during the non-light hours, so that'd be like 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. out there, or higher civil defense. Either one, we might look at some overtime for an officer out there for a while, just with them being out there and their lights on, so people take notice if we have an issue.
Gotcha.
Okay, we'll be happy to make that arrangement with you guys, okay, if that's possible.
So we can have that discussion.
We need to have that discussion after, but we're happy to go to that extent. This is that important, we get this project going.
Okay. Thank you, Mylon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do we need to okay the new plans or just no action?
I think just, well, I think what had happened originally was the board approved.
We did.
And then rescinded, and now I think we should approve.
Okay, gotcha.
Motion to approve the Michigan and Kennedy Road closures with the stipulated changes.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter B, a demolition hearing for 5629 Calumet Avenue.
So 5629 Calumet, the board, I believe, Linda, was this actually continued, or do you have the?
Who's the guy?
Okay. Yeah, it was set for the 11th, and I don't know if the board continued it to today or they did. Okay, so 5629 Calumet is a property that it's right down the block. It shares a party wall with 5627 Calumet. Mr. Farrell is the one that did the inspection. I can show the board some photos. Is anybody present here for this property? 5629 Calumet. I show it as the owner of ProCap 8 FBO First Trust Bank. And I do believe there might be Dakota Buckner that at one point owned it out of Lake Station. All right, nobody here. We do have good service through posting and publication. We did send certified and regular mail as well. ProCap is out of Fort Washington, Pennsylvania. And as I mentioned, Mr. Buckner, or Ms. Buckner, I'm not sure, Dakota Buckner is out of Lake Station. So let me show the board some photos of this property. Mr. Farrell, you did the inspection, right?
So this property is one that was involved in an accident where a vehicle had struck a main brick column in the front of the building, subsequently breaking a few windows and compromising the structural integrity of that exterior wall. It was boarded up, and then there's been no further movement on behalf of the owner. I believe initially there was contact made and mention of contacting the insurance company. However, we don't have any proof that's occurred, and there hasn't been any contact to pay for or schedule an interior inspection. This property is attached to an adjacent location, which is also going through this process, and I think the hearing today was to ensure that the contractor that was awarded the bid for that can move forward. There were some concerns as far as damaging this property, but it's, so, you know, the conditions as such would, and the lack of communication and movement to try to repair it, I would just request that the board affirm the order as it stands.
Yeah, so obviously it hasn't been bid out yet for the work. We don't know, and I have had some contact from a tax sale purchaser next door that's going to try to acquire both. There's potential for rehab, but at this point, if the board could affirm the order of the inspections department and building commissioner as presented to the board based on the condition of the property and that we do have good service.
Okay.
Motion to affirm the order is presented.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna try stay after and talk to him afterwards. Letter C, gas station exemption for Neelam Incorporated, Sitco, 3550 169th.
Good morning. I know that Mr. Yaney and his client are on Zoom. Mr. Novak is here, and I know that also Lieutenant Godey is here. It's my understanding that originally the letter went out to address the Fusus issue because they had not been on, or maybe their Fusus had not hooked up. Maybe Lieutenant Godey could come up and address where it is and where we're at, and then we'll let Mr. Yaney address that. So.
Okay.
Good morning. They are connected now. I think they had the box, but they didn't have it provisioned or something. They made the purchase but didn't connect it. It is connected now. They provided 12 exterior views only. So I don't know what the board's position is on seeing the inside of the business and obviously the safety. Most of them let us see that the clerk is okay. And what's going on inside the store, they did not turn those views on, but we do have 12 exterior views.
Okay, so that was a question. The other businesses have gave us the inside view, and they did not. So I guess I'd like to know why they chose to make that or take that position.
Okay, I know Mr. Yaney's on, so Scott, were you able to hear that question?
I heard the question. Let's make sure I'm not muted. Good morning. Thank you for letting us join. First, I want to address that they had to have some work done by Comcast to provide internet additional capacity to serve the cameras. They hooked them up, thought they were working, and then discovered an issue, so they had to have some additional infrastructure. That's now in place. I will check. They're online right now. I think they have the ability to provide access to one of those cameras. It wasn't my understanding from the hearing, and this goes back to November, I guess it wasn't clear to me that it had to be an interior camera, but they can address this right now. Do you have an interior camera we could provide access to?
Yes, good morning everybody. Yes, we do, and we can provide access to them if it needed.
I guess my question would be, shouldn't you want us to be able to see that your teller is okay, or the cashier, clerk, whatever you call the person, that we would be able to see them, and if something's going to happen inside to them, we would want to see that. So I guess my question is, why are you restricting that at this point?
We were not restricting it by purposefully. It was just, we thought that just the exterior is required. So that's why we had given access to the exterior. Okay,
so you don't have any objections to the interior cameers?
No, we don't.
Okay.
So that sounds like an easy fix.
Easy enough, yeah.
Yeah, so the other issues that I think is that, Lieutenant Godey, are you good then with that, or?
Yes, our concern is obviously if an armed robbery were to occur or something would happen to the clerk, we have no visibility with the suspect or what happened until they come outside.
Okay, so it sounds like from the PD perspective, we're good.
I believe so,
okay.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you, Lieutenant Godey. So from the zoning perspective, I know there's just a couple of small items. I've made Mr. Yaney just aware of them this morning because I received a text from Mr. Novak just before the hearing or just during the hearing. And so Mr. Yaney's now aware of those. They seem to be pretty minor, but I'll let Mr. Novak bring them up.
Yeah, so along Grand Avenue at to be the southeast corner of the site, there's an old decrepit payphone that's starting to lean over on the Grand Avenue sidewalk. There's also a light pole next to that which has a faceplate missing near ground level, so there's some exposed wires. I don't know if they're live, but to me those are two biggest safety concerns given that a lot of children and teens are walking past and forth that every day. So the other one was making sure we discussed the placement of the ADA striping for the ADA space, and I just wanted to confirm that that was completed in their parking lot. And then long term, something we did want to see at all gas stations is, a landscaping, there's a provision to have a landscaping bed around your corner signs, just to kind of beautify the corner. So those are the 4 items that I had.
And the other thing I do want to mention, because this has been a kind of Mr. Farrell will be happy to hear this. This has been a sticking point on several of the gas stations, is that Mr. Yaney provided me, I think, let's say Thursday, on Tuesday, documentation showing that he has rectified all issues with the Secretary of State and that they are up to speed with the assumed business name and all the names that the name that they're applying for the business license matches the Secretary of State. So Mr. Farrell will appreciate that. I know Mr. Yaney was on top of that, so I appreciate that as well. So it sounds to me that if the items that Mr. Novak brought up, the payphone, the exposed wires, and the ADA, if that can be rectified, this is more of a status than, to me, a revocation at this point.
Yeah, but it sounded like he wasn't sure if the ADA striping had taken place. Has it taken place?
I was going to ask for
Okay, gotcha.
I can speak to all of those issues briefly. The payphone is removed now. The panel is being installed. Their electrician gave them advice that was confusing. That's being done by another contractor. Those two items are being kind of the urgent issues, have been addressed or will be addressed imminently. The striping, they had been waiting the hearing occurred in November. They had to wait until the spring. They've been in line with a contractor, but that contractor is very busy. They've reached out to another contractor that Mr. Novak gave them some referrals, and they are going to engage another contractor because it has to be striped according to code, and it requires striping throughout the lot. So they are engaging that contractor, but it's just been, they're not a priority. They're not a big job, and the spring is the first that they could possibly do that. So they are in process of doing that as well.
Okay. So, Mr. Yaney, do you have a time frame in mind that when all this would be able to be completed?
I'll turn to my clients for that. The plate, you can have that done within a week, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And then, and I am correct in saying that the payphone has been removed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It has been. We are just trying to arrange for a picture. We can send it to you as soon as our manager sends it.
No, we believe you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
And then on the striping, you were working on engaging another contractor right now. Have you been put on a schedule? I know we talked about this last week and you were in discussion then with the other contractor.
Actually, we haven't. The thing is that we don't want to hire just any contractor because it's going to be, the striping has to be precise according to the laws of the government. Whatever the street laws. So we want to hire the right person, and we will just have to wait for that contractor because they don't see us as a big work. So, we are the last priority. So we will definitely get it done maybe in a month, probably.
Yeah, we've run into this even with Luke, I think, saying they had to wait for the asphalt plants to open and things like that. So I think that's pretty understandable. Unless, at this point, I think I would show that they're substantially in compliance. If Mr. Novak needs to bring it up before the board again because they haven't rectified these things within a month or 45 to 60 days, then I'm sure he will bring it up again. Okay. From the city's perspective, I believe they're in compliance, substantially in compliance. I would just note to Mr. Yaney and his clients to remind them that there is an annual renewal of this, and that's supposed to be done 60 days or more prior, 60 days prior to the expiration. It won't require a hearing like we had last year. It'll just probably be an update like this for Mr. Novak to the board, and then the board will determine renewal or not on the 24-hour.
Okay. So no action today then?
Mr. Novak, I don't believe there's any action that need to be taken. I appreciate everybody showing up, and I appreciate obviously the things being rectified.
Yes.
No, I will say they've been trying to be compliant, and I've made a note to myself. I'll go by in mid or late June and check on the property.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thanks, Lieutenant Godey, also. Okay, moving on to letter D, rehearing for late business license fee for DGB Auto Sales, 5850 Holman Avenue. Come on up, sir. Hi, could you give us your name, please?
Daniel Burns.
Okay, can you tell us what happened?
Well, for about the last 30 plus years, I got a form from the city, and I walked it over here and paid religiously every year. It was very convenient and easy. We I kind of shared a building with I'm in the back, and there's a Hispanic restaurant, grocery store in the front, and I think, and we've got so many different postmen now, a lot of times I've gotten a little bit of their mail, and I walk it to them, and they've gotten some of my mail, and I never get it. Now, I came over and asked about, she said, well, that was already due, and you missed the due date. And I said, well, I never got the notice. She said, well, we don't mail them out anymore, the application. But we sent out an orange form, a bright orange thing. I said, well, I'm sorry. I said, I never got it. The post office service is horrible over there. And she said, well, we'll have a hearing for you. And I said, okay. And I cautioned him upstairs. I said, well, the mail is really bad. You've got my phone number and my email. Please let me know. A couple of weeks went by, and I called, and she said, well, it was yesterday, and you were denied. And so I reached out to an attorney friend and said, can you help me out here? And that was Mr. Wickland, Dave Wickland. And all I'm saying is I've never been late in all these years. I never received the notice. My credit score is over 800. I pay my bills on time. I'm happy to pay it today. I just asking for a one-time leeway on this, because it's never happened before.
Mr. Burns, do you own the building?
No, my father does.
And he leases to the grocery store that's in the building also?
Yes. I've gone in there, and they've got a copy machine with a pile of mail on it. I've gotten some car titles and things. I'm like, you guys got to tell me when something shows up here.
Gotcha.
And the post office is really the ones to blame, because it clearly says DGB Auto Sales on my mail, and they're giving it to a Carnesia grocery store.
Okay.
So it falls really on the problem of the post office. And
I gotcha.
Yeah, so I did speak with Mr. Wickland about this, and I've checked with the inspections department, and Mr. Burns is correct that they've always been on time. I think probably one of the things we would suggest in talking to Mr. Farrell is that you may want to split that into like Suite A and Suite B or something, so that the post office specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I do have an outside mailbox right next to my sign, DGB Auto Sales 5850, and they don't have a mailbox up front, so the postman literally has, and they park the truck right there. I see them get out in between the funeral home and this building, and my mailbox is actually closer than walking it around and giving it to the store. But
I think the reminder is that, am I wrong? That was a courtesy. You don't.
Yeah, that's a courtesy. I think, well, so, and he also missed the hearing, the letter that went out, I think, with
Right.
regard to the hearing, but you're right. It's June 30th every year, is that right?
Yes.
June 30th.
Yeah, we updated
Yeah,
the
so
dates.
June 30th is every year. It's kind of on you to make sure you put that in your calendar.
Right.
We do send out the courtesy postcard, but that's not a requirement of the cities. It's just a reminder.
The only other thing I would mention is that, according to Lake County, this parcel is recognized as 5848 Homan. And then, so on the previous business licenses, he does have the license under 5850. Under the Secretary of State, the business is registered under 5840. So having a consistent, like the actual address, that Lake County recognizes the property as may assist in this.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it might be an address issue. I'm not sure. That's for Mr. Burns to figure out. We don't have, I don't have an objection to waiver if the board doesn't, of the late fee. But I just would remind Mr. Burns that, it's due every year.
I might suggest that if anything went to 5840, I'm actually residing in that building, I would get that mail, so
Okay.
it never went to either address.
We're not going to have any objection. We probably would have granted the exception last time, but you weren't here. When somebody's not
Right.
here, we
I
almost always
understand.
apply the late fee.
I get it.
Okay, so we're good. Okay.
Motion to waive the
Thank you.
late fee.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Thank you.
Let's see, moving on to number 11, rental registration hearings, 4923 Ash, and 4 of them, it looks like, and 4927 Ash.
All right, Judge Hood, you can step up here. All right, so the two properties here on Ash, it looks like Mr. Jesu has been listed as the owner for 4923 Ash since 2013. This is a single-family home rental that's been registered on time from 2013 through 2023. And so we're here on behalf of the late fee for 2024 only. And then 4927 Ash is a registered 2-unit with Mr. Jesuit occupying the front property. And then that one was also registered on time since 2013, with the only exception being 2024 is late. So it'd be one rental unit for each address.
One for each address.
Yes, and you still occupy the property yourself, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you tell us what happened in 2024?
Yes. I've been fighting this from 2021 to prove that I don't live at 3922 Cary Street, Apartment 3, and I was at State Farm in Crown Point at 3:25, and Dawn filled out the paperwork, but there was no fax number on that paperwork, and I couldn't make it from Crown Point to be back here at 3:45 on Friday, and I have never, ever been late, ever. And I've been fighting this since 2021. You know, to prove, you know, I got ineligibility papers stating I'm on disability Social Security now. We own Ron's Cozy Tavern, 44 years in business. I was around when D-Lo was there, and they shot up the woman.
Sir, let's focus on this today. Okay. So
I've never been late.
Okay, so we're going to grant you the exemption today.
Okay, I paid $10
at the end of today's meeting. And I would also like to say that I would like to personally have a word with you when we're done with the meeting. Okay, so if you could just have a seat, the meeting will be over shortly, and you can pay the $5 per property. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to waive the late fees for the properties.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moving on to letter B, 6924 Columbia. Looks like there's 6 of them. Thank you.
So this property at 6922 Columbia is a 6-unit rental property, which has changed ownership in June of 2023. So it looks like the previous owner, the last time they registered it was 2019. So we'll be sending them to collections for 20 and 21 and 22. And then the current owner here, I believe he's here to appeal 2023, correct?
Correct.
And then once 2023 is sorted out, I believe he came in prior to the cutoff date for this year, so we wouldn't assess, a late fee because he was on time, and that's when we discovered the property hadn't been registered in the length of time that it hasn't. So, with it being a rental unit community, there's a single $5 charge assessed to the rental registration, and then I would just remind him to make sure that he registers on time each year.
Okay, sir, can you tell us give us your name first of all?
Yes, Ferris Garcia.
And can you tell us what happened in 23?
Absolutely. So I co-own a management company, and this building happens to be one that I own. The director of the company was unfortunately at the time going through some family issues, and we did register everything else we had. Unfortunately, my one did slip through the cracks. This year, the new director came in to register everything. We did get everything else registered on time. Two properties that we did just take over, we came in immediately after they closed and registered those. This one, when we did come in, they let me know that, they let us know that it had not been registered last year, and that's when this hearing got scheduled. So I'm here to say I'm sorry and that it won't happen again. Hopefully, I can get a waiver.
So you do own other properties in Hammond?
I own myself only one other single-family home that did get registered, and then we do manage for other friends of myself for the property management company, and all those properties did get registered on time.
And you've never had issues with those, Nick?
No, I don't know the addresses. Okay. I wouldn't. I'd assume not.
Okay. Sir, I just will let you know that we sometimes extend that courtesy one-time just make sure it doesn't happen again.
Absolutely.
Whatever you got to do to make sure you remember that date, okay?
Absolutely. Can I pay both years
Sure,
today?
at the end of the meeting, yes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I
Motion to waive
have.
the late fees.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right, should do it.
Okay, thank you. The meeting's now open to the public. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Sir, come on up. Could you give us your name, please?
Yes, Joseph Kelly.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. I work for XPO Logistics Trucking Company, and we located right here in Gary, Indiana. And we relocated around 15th Avenue in Gary.
Okay.
Okay, so I think it was Monday. I called Mark. I had to find out who drew the route for the city, and Mark explained to me that it's put on the internet all the time, truck routes. So I've been doing Hammond for 30 years off and on. It's my route, right? So I think it was Monday or Tuesday, you had a police officer stop me and give me a ticket. I have no trailer. Okay, so 169th we got from Klein Avenue.
Sir, can I just, is this about a truck ticket?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do this. I'll talk to you after the meeting, because this is not the place for a truck ticket.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'll talk to you personally after the meeting, and hopefully we can get that straightened out, okay?
Okay.
Just give me a couple minutes and I'll
Yes, sir,
talk to
I'll
you.
do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Does anybody else in the public like to speak?
Chris
Chris
is
actually
coming
is gonna speak.
grudgingly?
Nice.
Okay.
Chris? Wow.
Morning, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Good.
Good.
I'm working on a drainage study on Carroll Avenue and Cayman Avenue. And going over there, we're trying to figure out a way to go out there and do some survey work. And there's a lot of vehicles that are parked over there. So I talked to the business over there. It's called ISA Market, ISSA Market.
Trucking on the corner right there?
Yeah, it's on the northeast corner.
Yeah.
And very nice guy. When I was talking to him and I had asked him about the vehicles that were parked out there, and he said they were all from the businesses across the street.
That is correct, yes.
Fix for less, and he was just asking if there's anything they need to do about it. I told him that I come to these meetings and I'll bring it up just to see if there's anything we do to help with parking. He said when he has deliveries coming, the trucks have to park out in the middle of the street because they
On
can't get on
Calumet
the side of the
Avenue,
road.
yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention.
It's been an ongoing problem, Chris. We take care of it, they come back, so I will put community policing on and make sure we take care of it.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, yep. Anybody else in the public like to speak? Okay.
Grudgingly, I'll say motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.